Good day, Trisha O'Connor here. We're going to talk about a dangerous building in the neighborhood. So let's talk about it. But first, can everyone please subscribe, like, and share? We have so much more content that you are not going to want to miss. Here we have a property that is in a community. We're going to go see as much inside as we can get to. The property is abandoned. Give you a little history on it, it was an old car wash that had a fire. It's been alleged that the property owner is deceased. It's been alleged that the property owner is incarcerated. If you notice that there are cars that have been dumped here, abandoned here, the sidewalk needs to be repaved. You have a little water buildup. We're going to go through this property and see a little bit more of what is going on in this property. This video is an old video that I taped, and in the video, I'm referencing some documents on the particular property, which I am going to share with you here, so you can actually see the documents on this property before we dive deeper into the inside of the property, and I'll let you hear the video that I originally um, posted, or most of it. So this property has a full vacate order on the property, which means that the property, no one can go into it. It's unsafe. Violation for failure to correct the property. So this property, you're not allowed to go inside of it. I want to show you some of the complaints on this property, which seems very interesting. Okay, some of it is not opening up. We will try again. Okay, so here are some of the complaints on this property. Someone called in, I'm assuming, to 311. There was a burned down vacant building that has no fence surrounding the property, and it may pose a danger for children that may go on the property to play. There are holes in the property. This is things that people are calling in. The building is for commercial usage and have been vacant for some time. The windows are not boarded up. There was a 24-hour vacate inspection. FDNY has come in and said that because of the um, fire damage car wash being occupied, um, and there's reports that um, homeless people were going in there. So we're going to take a look at the property and determine a little bit more. I'm going to show you the picture, the video of the property, and show you a little bit more of what's going on so you can actually hear some of um, what was said before for this property.
This part of the matter, the real estate part of the matter. So if you look at my post before this, I posted some documents on this property. This property is Quality Max, 1437 Utica Avenue. And I know there's a lot of dumping, right? That was the biggest concern, that there was a lot of dumping. But why aren't we looking at the property? Like, why aren't we coming at the real estate owner, the property owner of this property? If you look at if you look at the complaints that I posted before, there are a lot of people posting complaints that this is a very unsafe building for children. It's a harbor for whatever. Who knows what could be in there? Um, if you look down, you see there's a whole place down there. This is inside of that dumping ground. Like, this is the real estate. Like, why aren't we looking at the people or the person who owns this real estate? I'm going to take you around to the other side of the property just to show you. And if you look at my post previously, you're going to see some of the records I pulled up. Um, on the property to show some of the complaints. So this is where they're dumping, right? So, I mean, I spoke to some of the owners around through real estate, and they said that this place is cleaned all the time. It's cleaned all the time. I'm taking you up close. Why aren't we coming at the property owner? Why are we coming like anything? Anything could be dumped in this place. Look at this place. We're looking at all the space of the cleanup that needs to be cleaned up, but we're not looking at the actual property to say, there's somebody that owns this property. There's somebody that owns this property. So the news said that the owner has passed away, and that the owner's passed away, and the community board had reached out to them and they weren't interested. But guess what? Somebody has equity in this property. Somebody has equity in the
So the family, if the person did in fact pass away, the family was contacted and allegedly the family said they were not interested, their next of kin. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
this property. So while we're looking at the dumping, we need to look at who owns this property and what kind of safety is it for our community, right?
So if they did in fact get to that particular owner of the next of kin, they have to if they've said that they're not interested, then the state, the city, whoever has to find out what the next steps are if they're not interested, if the state takes ownership of it, because this property can't just sit here like this.
This is a major street. This is Utica Avenue. Somebody could pass, God forbid, somebody could be hurt, somebody could be dumped in there. Like it's we need to look at the owner of the property. Why is the owner allowed to keep their property like that? And even if the owner is deceased, there is an estate. Properties have estates, right? And even the state, New York State, if nobody claims the property, I'm not a lawyer, but if nobody claims the property, then the state has authority, right? Sanitation has given out quite a few violations. I personally don't think it was anywhere near enough of what this property actually. We have a dump. This property is a dump in our community, right? So while we're looking at the cleanup, we need to look at who owns the building, who owns the real estate. If this was my property, I would be fined. The city would have a long time taken it over, right? The state, if there's no ownership and the owner is deceased, the state would have gone forth and taken it over. How do we allow a building in our community to sit like this? How? How? We're looking at the dumping, but look at the property. Somebody owns this property. Somebody owns this property. Why are we going after the person that owns the property? The person who has abandoned this property now. One of your fee simple rights is you can't abandon the property. But why don't we look at who's paying the property taxes on this property? Somebody has to be paying the property tax on this property. Looked up and it looked like there was a mortgage still outstanding on the.
So if someone is paying the property tax, it could have been the taxes could have been sold as a lien sale. Just someone has equitable interest in this property. And as said before, allegedly if the next of kin, if that's the situation, doesn't want it, then the state has an obligation to take on that property, and that may be the owner. So we just have to find out, go down the line and see who has the responsibility of this property.
Property, which means that the bank has some type of interest in this property. The city puts violations, sanitation. This is a hazard. This is a health hazard. This is a safety hazard. Little kids could come home from school. Junior high school kids could come home from school and not be thinking right and play around in here. Let's take a look around the whole property. So when we're looking at the dumping of the property, we need to look at the entire property and who owns it, right? So I'm gonna get a little close and show you a little bit more of the inside. I'm good. I can go as close. I got I got some security with me. But check inside. Look at this building. So there was a fire, right? What's going on? Who's the bank, right? What is the state doing on this property? This is a property right in our community. We can't just look at the dumping. We have to look at who owns this property and who has equitable interests in this property, whether it be if the person is alive, them, and if they're not, their heirs, their estate, right? Um, who's paying the property tax on this property? Somebody, unless it went into a tax lien and the city is selling it. But from what I see there's a loan on it, and the bank has all responsibility to make sure this property is secure, right? So look at my last post where I posted some documents from the city showing the violations. Like I said, I'm going to get as close as possible. Um, you can see that it goes all the way down. You can see that it has no windows. You can see that people, from what I understand, homeless people are also living in here. Um, this could be a development. This could be something, and it's sitting here. We're allowing the homeowner. We're letting the homeowner get the property owner get a pass. Those violations, like, come, we're letting the how long is this property? This is a huge property. This is not a zombie house is sitting around. This is a huge property. So we need to look at this. We need to look at this property. Um, I know the whole property is not privately owned. This part of the property is privately owned. I believe the top part of it is is maybe the MTA or the government that owns the top.
This was what happened after the video. The entire property was boarded up. We will be coming to you with a more recent video. In the meantime, please subscribe, like, and share. Peace. Thank you for watching.